the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you have to do, make it last.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, 922 Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias. That's the wrong button. That's why I was putting a piece of tape on it, so I didn't push it. On the social medias here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready to talk wrestles and some Dungeons and Dragons with you actually this week. We got some guests with us in studio. I love when we have in studio guests. First of all, he is a hipster roller skater. I was going to say roller skate hooligan. Is that a thing?
I'm not a hooligan.
You're not a hooligan.
I don't like hooliganry.
You don't what?
Skate. I don't like hooliganry.
You don't like hooliganry on your. You're the regulator of the skating rink. Is that it?
I was at one point. Yeah.
Yes, the Mikey Montgomery back on the show.
Hello, everybody.
How's it go? Supersonic.
Yeah. Because you go. It's Tony Chimmel into Vince McMahon, so it's Supersonic.
I love Sean Collier hit that perfectly this week. Like I think I saw you pop when you hit that, right?
I always listen for it to see if it's, because half the time it's like, most of the time I'm later on in the card, so it's like his voice is already gone by then.
Yeah.
So to ask him to do that is so extra.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to see how it's gonna sound. But he hit it very well.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. That was the Enjoy Wrestling at what was it? Is the Allegheny County Hilltop Fair? Hilltop County Fair.
The Hilltop County Fair.
Yes,
sponsored by the Bottle Rocket Social Club.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. I love that room is also where we filmed the second set of Fight Underground tapings. So
that really?
Yeah, that was the room.
Yes, it
That
was.
where we do the ad that's always in front of the 880 show and everywhere else we put the Mayhem Show ad. That's in that room.
I was wondering. I thought I've been in that room before.
Oh, I have stories.
And also with us, we found her. We found her. There's missing posters. There's missing posters when you were on commentary. That was really weird. The unwielding Tatiana is here.
Hello.
We have found and compromised to a permanent end. Tatiana Rose.
No, there's no.
That sounds wrong.
Okay, you know what? Tatiana Rose got compromised at this point 3 years ago. So sure, that's fine. Compromise Tatiana Rose. Ian Wilton, Tatiana, on the other hand, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm not missing. Joe Murphy handed me a missing poster of myself.
And then you found yourself. It's like so
Is it
Tatiana
somehow
has
metaphorical?
Tatiana's been on a walkabout, finding herself, healing up.
I've been on a healing journey.
Literally,
though.
I have been present for at least 2 of your injuries, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's me. I'm the problem. Okay. It's me.
I mean, if we're being honest, the common denominator in all of my injuries have been wrestling and myself.
Well, okay. Yeah, there's that too. I'm also... Listen, I don't know why I've been doing this to myself, but I've been posting when I get hurt at wrestling shows doing video lately.
What's the worst that you've ever been hurt doing video for a wrestling show?
Definitely that one I posted today where the tip of the hockey stick hit me in the head at Diamond Beach.
Wait,
I didn't see that.
Yes,
Wait,
yes.
What account did you post?
It's on the
on?
Sorgatron one. You don't see it, but you see me go sideways, and you have no idea how much I can't see while I'm getting that shot of KC coming out. Because so it's fourth line. It's the main event. It's the Donnybrook match, and this is that Diamond Beach where there's all the boats for some reason. Somebody said it looked like a backyard wrestling level. It does. I played that. And he comes out. Brandon comes out. He does his mosh pit slam dance thing. Well, he has a hockey stick because it's a Donnybrook, and somehow the tip of the hockey stick hits me square in the middle of the top of the head. And I can barely open my eyes, and when in that shot that's there, he's hugging me and asking me if I'm okay, and I'm still trying to shoot the entrance.
Did Did it come?
Who
Like,
to the microphone?
I'm sorry. Did it come like over the top? Like
Yeah, it was
this?
like an over the top. Like
That's
he like definitely
that's-
did one of these,
Yeah,
and
I can
it was
see that in the vid.
it was like it
you
was
see
it feels. I never looked at it like another angle or anything like that, but it feels like the direct. Well, we probably deleted the footage by now of the other cameras because we don't keep anything because we don't. Nobody pays us for storage. So
Yeah.
Nobody has a
and that-
terabyte of storage laying around.
Yeah. Like, well, I kind of literally do, but like I'm not, doing that. I mean, it would be a terabyte like a month at this point, right?
Sure.
But yeah, we just keep the masters of the Switch and walk away unless we have other agreements. Yeah, so it's it hurt a lot, and I had a good goose and I was just coming off recovering from a goose egg from like the week before. I just like post head injuries on TikTok, and it's doing very well for me on TikTok right now.
Yeah, TikTok's weird where like you could post literally anything other than the stuff you do for a living and it goes viral. Like my makeup videos will get really popular, my book reviews will get really popular. The one I did about the Final Girls support group, it still gets likes and comments every now and then because I have people arguing with me saying it was good actually. They're wrong. It's not good. Grady Hendrix is a terrible author and I will put that on record any day. Sorry. But like
I want to make sure to TikTok that clip so that we can get the heat off of it. Okay.
I'll say it on mine. Sorry. But like
Can you say it again?
Yeah. Can you say it? Say
Grady
it.
Hendrix
Can you say it a little more clearly so the AI picks it up, please? There you go.
Grady Hendrix sucks.
Whoa, hot takes here on the Mayhem Show.
I'll fight everybody who disagrees.
Well, literally, the top video on TikTok for this show is us just talking about the Insane Clown Posse for some reason. It's just like,
makes total
okay,
sense.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But like you'll put all this work into like highlight videos of yourself using like CapCut or whatever.
Yep.
I use this YouTube. Thank you.
What is that?
Just pop it on a little bit.
Wait, are you like the sound tech now?
No,
I just as you were like doing a motion with your microphone all the way over here before.
But like,
Thank you for the help. You're
yeah.
you're a great intern.
we have found Mikey Montgomery's secondary career. But yeah,
Or third or fourth after the roller rink discussion earlier on
it was,
Patreon.
no, that's far gone.
That's
that was the old
retired.
life.
My
That's
knees
that's
could
that's
never.
gone in RIP, just like Tatiana Rose. There you go.
but yeah, just the weirdest things will get popular on TikTok, and it's always the stuff that you put no effort into. And you're like, oh, okay, well, now that I have a bit of an audience, let me put out something I did put effort into. Nothing. No views.
Yes. So I've moved into trying less, but putting more of it out. This is what I've been doing because it's just like more opportunities. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, maybe they'll respond to this. And a lot of times it's just like, just hot wrestling takes are like, because everybody hates it, which means you get response. And you're just like, cool. If it's just people calling me an idiot, fine. I'm here for the conversation.
Well, I still can't believe that you got those backyard wrestling people from Australia to respond. to
Oh
you.
shit, I need to respond to them too. I've been remind me to respond
Yeah,
to
we
them. We
need
need
to
to
get them-
schedule. We need to make that happen.
Guys, if you're listening right now, clip this, Sorg.
Clip this AI.
Australian backyard wrestlers from 12, 13 years ago. We want to have you on a podcast. I want to interview you.
And I think there was. I don't think we followed up on this because you were on. We were talking about the Australian backyard wrestlers. They responded to the YouTube
Yes.
clip or show or something like that.
It was a clip of a highlight video of I can't remember one of their
like us looking at the highlight videos or something that.
It was one of their like pay-per-view music videos that they had put out like however many years ago, and it was just me just going, look at this inventive, going bam bam bam. And I think like one of them responded, it's like, hey, yeah, we're still doing it, check out our other channel.
Nice.
And I thought that was really cool of them to reach
I
out.
love. This is why I love the internet. This is what it's for. Anyways, let's talk about some wrestling in general. I guess we're talking about wrestling this whole time, but
Let's talk about some current.
let's talk about what's happening in the world before we talk D&D and such, right? I know we were talking before the show. You guys have been up on what's been happening since SummerSlam, Judgment Day, all this stuff, Braun Breaker. What's kind of gotten your excitement here watching on Mondays, Fridays, but whenever the hell wrestling is these days?
Oh, I love the new iteration of the Judgment Day.
Yeah?
I think it's it's becoming, because I think the old version of the Judgment Gate. The Judgment Gaze.
That's the independent.
That's a
version.
different channel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tyler Klein. Anyways.
Keep going.
But yeah, I think the new iteration of the Judgment Day is really good. It's more dark and edgy than I think the original idea of the Judgment Day in Edge's eyes was to be dark and gritty,
Yeah.
and then it became a sitcom.
Yes.
And now I think it's returning to more dark and gritty with like a side story of Liv and Dom being gross, which I think is fun for camera, because you get like her obviously going to get her comeuppance from Rhea in the next coming weeks. That's in my mind probably going to be the Mania match this next year if they can stretch it that long.
That seems a little long for this. I feel like that's a Survivor Series maybe.
Sure. So, yeah.
But it could play out. It could play out even further,
out.
depending on what they do with it.
Or depending on what happens at Mania 2, you could add another babyface into the mix, depending there, make it a triple
And we have
threat.
a mixed tag with all of them at in Berlin.
Yes,
So,
I forgot
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I was driving home. I had a Wayfair commercial audition on Monday. Don't need to brag about that.
Ooh.
But I was able to watch. I was able to watch it on my phone while I was driving on the turnpike. Not that you should do that, but I was able to watch.
We'll cut this part out. Don't worry about it.
I was able to watch a
Nobody's
lot of
watching.
it. I was able to watch a lot of it, but I wasn't able to watch the. I watched a little bit of Dom and Liv standing up on the with the crowd talking, but I didn't see what it led to. But now that I know that it led to a mixed tag team,
It led to a concession stand brawl, which I am all for. I feel like we brought all the best parts and left the worst parts of the Attitude Era around, like fighting in the concession stands, going up into the crowd, and then added these cool, like, I'm going to cut a promo on the way to the ring and doing my entrance, which they did. I watched DIY did this, but I think Ciampa might have forgot a line, and then Braun Breaker did one last night. These are incredible, and that's a lot to ask of these guys too.
Oh yeah,
to presumably memorize this, or at least have a promo in their head to do this walk that's timed, right? Like, that's crazy, and I love that they're pulling it off.
Well, it's transformed from the times of the Attitude Era, right? Because that grew out of the necessity to do that, because they weren't going to give you time to do a promo. They weren't going to give you time in the ring to cut a promo.
We got to fill 3 hours, buddy.
Exactly. So now that they have to fill 3 hours, now you're giving talent opportunity to cut a promo backstage, do a walk up, and then their music hits. Cut a promo while they're walking to the ring. After their match, cut a promo.
Walk from their car through the back to the entrance.
The fact that
and into the ring with one camera.
The fact that we're using up time on television for a 3-hour show to watch cuts of them walking from their car to the arena.
Okay, some of them have been like really, really good. Like the Sami Zayn one, where like he and Kevin Owens are talking, and he's like, you know what? No, I'm going in the same. But
Just point a little more towards your mouth.
That's why you got to wear the headphones,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. Put it back. Put it back.
I'm just gonna.
There
put
you
it out
go.
there.
There she is. There it is.
I'm just gonna
That's
put
okay.
it out there. That wasn't my fault.
That's fine. That's
Well,
fine.
because
We're proactive.
I mean, inevitably, when you sit on a couch, you get more relaxed, or
Yeah,
you get more
yeah.
tense.
Yeah.
Anyways, you were saying.
The Sami Zayn one where he was like, "No, I'm gonna take you guys in the way that I used to enter this arena for wrestling shows." That was so fucking cool. That to this day, that is the best one they have done, because you had, I think, just the energy that Sammy brought to it, I think made that promo, because it was him firing up for his match and being like, "Oh, I'm about to do something really fucking neat." But then you have silly ones like, this might be controversial, I thought the Cody Rhodes one was a little too much.
The one where he walked the dog to the ring?
Oh, it
Not
wasn't just
that
it
part.
wasn't just that. It was him sitting in his bus going,
and then
and then walking out of the bus,
And then
and
having
then
a
the handoff,
conversation.
and then the handoff from the thing to just get,
And the dog. And
and-
here's
and-
Arn Anderson.
You need to tell me, dude. as my wrestler brain goes crazy in those moments because it's like he called his entire match. I know he called his entire match in his gear. So he then called his entire match, walked back to his bus, waited for this camera crew to get here, and then he's sitting there for an awkward amount of time until they're like, and he's like, now all of a sudden you have to act like you're calm and
It's all magic, baby. First of all, who was his opponent that night? That was
that was Solo.
Solo's.
Yeah.
You don't think Solo didn't have to meet him on the bus? You really think Cody left the bus? Like,
You don't think he went to the locker room one time?
I think
you don't
that,
think he
I
got
think
catering?
that is his locker room.
You don't think he got?
No,
you don't
they
think he
bring
got
it to
catering?
Well,
him.
no, wait a minute. Let's give Cody Rhodes some credit because don't forget that he was turned into a meme a couple years ago for going out after I think it might have been AEW, but after the show he went and helped with Teardown.
Okay, I hadn't seen that. No.
That it hasn't circulated in a while, but yeah, there was a picture of him sweeping the ring after a show, like a big show, and everybody was like, "See, Cody Rhodes isn't too good for this," and I'm like, "Actually, your point is okay, but also." That is actually kind of cool that he's allowed to help with ring crew because, from my experience, most arenas pull in union workers to do everything on ring crew.
yeah.
So
Yes.
nobody's allowed.
Yes.
Nobody's allowed to touch the ring.
So-
And that was the thing with Immaculate, right? Because you had a bunch of union,
Yep.
you had a bunch of union guys that they work for that
Local
place.
spirit.
New Japan, when they do the big venues, I know when we did the Palladium in New York City, same thing, and they had the dark hour and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yes,
I think it was just I think it was just Brandon and Casey telling them where everything goes.
Just
This
like-
goes
Yeah,
here, this
and
goes here, this
ordering
goes here.
around the.
The
yeah.
good news
No,
is,
seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the good news is with
The only thing they would let us do was tighten the ropes.
the good news is with Stage AE and even the place out in Oakland that AEW goes to that I always forget the name of. The good thing about those venues,
The Pete. The Pete. Peterson
maybe?
Event Center.
Question mark? I don't know. I didn't go to Pitt.
Whatever on Pitt. Yeah.
Whatever that arena out in Oakland that is a part of Pitt's campus that AEW uses. The good thing about those venues is that it's Local 3 doing them as well as PPG events. And Local 3 has been doing all of the wrestling shows pretty much for years. So most of the guys
So they know it.
most of the guys that are called in to do those ring crews,
They know how to set up the
yeah,
ring.
they've
That's
learned
good.
at this point.
A friend of the show that used to be on here. He does a lot of the builds and teardowns for that. He also does concerts too. So
Yeah.
he's very familiar with those. So
Local 3 is very busy.
yes. Anyways, so back to WWE generally. But yeah, no, I think it's an interesting stretch. They're not all going to hit.
No.
You know, we're going to have a miss. Like, I think there was a point watching Friday's show where the DIY's doing the walkout, and they there's a point where they stand there for a second, and Johnny just looks over at Ciampa and just like, your turn, bud, kind of thing, right? It was not long, but it was long enough. I know, when you're forgetting something in the ring in a promo, that's like an eternity, right?
Oh, yeah,
you are
for sure.
live. You're alive on a camera on Fox. That's gonna be, that was I'm sure alarm bells were coming off, but also having to do that. And I've always been amazed by somebody wrestling a match. Mikey, you had an insane night in Enjoy, for instance, right? And then I think you even got on the mic afterwards, right?
I did,
And I don't think there was any pointed promo or anything that you had to hit some marks on that I recall.
No.
But
there was something I had in my brain that I wanted
exactly.
to get across.
Exactly.
For sure.
That was more just kind of like a response to everything that happened at that point.
I
right?
really wish they would release that promo, just sort of on its own. Because
it was fire. Yeah.
It was great.
But doing something like you did, and then you're Drew McIntyre or somebody, and now you got kind of a 10-minute promo after you just did all that.
Oh, my
That seems
God.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I didn't get knocked loopy, so I remember my damn lines. In my head, is how
For
that
sure.
works. Yeah.
But I mean, there's also, I don't know, there's also a sense of security in it too, right? Where it's everything there I feel is so regimented, and there's less margin for error there than there is for indie wrestling, whereas they kind of have it written down for them already. Whereas like if I come up with something in my head, I might have something completely different in 10 minutes. Because I'm just overthinking it and blah blah blah, and it's like,
or,
what was my
or
original?
responding to something that happened in the match, maybe that happened differently than it was supposed
Exactly.
to or
Like I could
something,
lose
right?
my place there, but I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's almost more of a rehearsal too, right? Where it's some of the newer talent, you know, they have gotten into the into the habit of like practicing their matches beforehand. Where it's like in indie wrestling, you never practice your match
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah.
You get to the venue and you call your match there and then you learn what your promo is and yada yada yada. Whereas I feel like, I mean, it could be different because you know, TV. The nature of TV is it's always changing,
Yeah.
right? But you get to the venue that day and you sort of have an idea of where the story is going, what's expected of you, yada yada yada. So I feel like there's a little more security in having something prepared for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's argument of your voice and everything, but other than that, like, you know, I mean, you're a player, you know what I mean? So, but it does seem like the things are a little looser. I would be curious to see, because I remember my friend would sneak me the scripts every once in a while. They found crumpled up in the trash, and you would see like word for word what Roman Reigns said that night and stuff like that. I think I still have them in the back. And I think an old writer like sent us something too from like a SmackDown script from like the 2000s. And yeah, again, it's like okay, this was word for word, and this is the camera cue, and this is the cue for the video, da 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 da. And I wonder if that is looser. Is it more bullet points for certain people they trust to do that? You know, like I think like you know, The Rock, Chris Jericho, they can go on their own, right? They don't necessarily need to have a word for word line. Roman was definitely having fun with that. The Suffer and Succotash night, for instance, right? You can tell people were writing shit for him, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's like I've never seen a full script of it, but I can't imagine everything on the page is written line for line, right? Where it's like maybe Roman had his full promo thing, but it's like a couple matches later, it's like you have this guy, it's like cuts a 2-minute promo.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it.
I think it'd be surprised how on the nose they had to be, because I'm pretty sure it was pretty word for word at the time, especially like 10 years ago, right? So, anyways, well. A lot to talk about, and they're not the only company in town, but we'll be getting into that. But thanks for everybody that is supporting our show tonight, whether you're in the chat room on multiple places that we're streaming, including I see True Prince Pro out there in the Facebook chat, as well as Tina Keys in Seattle. Ponder's hanging out with us tonight. Mikey's going to go get some of that pizza. Thank you to everybody that does support the show. Our friends at the fan of the show level on patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Bo Diggity! Woo! 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 They're busy with pizza. I have no woos. That's right. Let's try it. Let's try it again. Bo Diggity!
Woo!
Thank you. Team Hammerfest, Tupac family, Megan Nelson, Bubba Brewer, and Jason French at the Poppy Club level, Dave Prodner, spouse of Roosterly Affair at roosteraffair.com, and Ratchet and Trenchcoat Tony Kincaid at the Pizza Club level, The Riz, and at the manager level, Bradley and Tina Keys. Thank you, everybody that's supporting the show. Patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. We have the Patreon only feed that we do live here, where we go on a bit before the show, and we almost had another podcast. We talked a lot about like some of this. Kind of had a good pre-chat and talked a lot about the roller rink.
We did.
And
It was
video
it was a
and
very good conversation
yes.
about the roller rink.
There was a lot of. I learned a lot about the roller rink and everything with Mikey.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you really want to learn about Mikey and the roller rink, go to patreon.com/ what is it? Patreon.com/ indiewrestling.us.
The Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Wrestling Mayhem
We don't
Show.
have a Patreon for indie.
Sorry.
We have a subscription where we give you shows.
That's right.
Over there.
I am
There's a
subscribed to that.
difference. Yes.
You know what else you can
It's
see?
just to watch my own matches.
You know what I was about to
You
say?
know you
what
can
else
ask. You know you can ask. But
No, I don't want
you don't want.
to. I don't want to ask. I just want to have them.
Remind me to add you to a Facebook chat later. Anyways, you're saying
I was about to say, well, you know what else you can see on the, if you get a subscription, you can see all of the 880 shows, including all of the Fridays on Fifth shows and all Thursday night fights.
and you can try to pinpoint the point where Tatiana got hurt.
It's not that hard to find.
Can I tell you my pitch for 880?
Yes.
Sure.
So, I got inspired watching it in the Olympics.
If you're on audio, they're eating pizza right now.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just looping them in.
So, I got inspired watching the Olympics, and I want to do the 880 games. I come in with a giant firecracker. I run all the way down Kensington Avenue, or all the way down
8th Avenue or 5th Avenue.
I run all the way down 5th Avenue, which is like
Across the bridge. Shots of you going
Oh my
across the
God.
bridge, past the construction workers.
and then it's just a bunch of different match types, maybe a couple of death matches. Who knows? Just different goofy match types.
There's
Maybe
going to be a breakdance off now.
breakdance off. Maybe a red light, green light match.
What's the closest to Snoop Dogg in Pittsburgh that we can get for this to preside over this?
Cliff Klepto.
Sure. Sean Collier. Sean Collier.
Sean Collier as Snoop Dogg. That won't be a problem.
He's the most famous Pittsburghian I know.
Yeah, okay. We could have some options there. Anyways, I like this.
Oh,
I mean, we
well,
already
what
have a World Series, so you saying?
I was gonna say, I feel like we can find. I feel like Andrew McCutcheon counts as the most famous Pittsburgher right now, but I feel like he has a very high rate that we may not quite be able to fulfill.
No, the reason I said Sean is he would just do it.
That's also true.
Sean's there anyways, so hey, Sean, I got this bit, and I know you're going to say yes.
Sean was going to be there anyway. He just put a microphone in front of him.
Just like
There
pull
you
him
go.
aside, like, hey, we have an idea. What do you think about this?
We'll get the Jagoff crew. We'll see if Mikey and Big Bob are in. Actually, they'd probably be in for it. I've always wanted to get them connected with wrestling, actually. Anyways, so over in AEW, you know, we're gearing up for the Wembley Stadium show. I believe that's next Sunday. We'll talk about that in depth next week as we do the breakdown for that show. Hey, they're giving us a full extra week in between All In and All Out, so that's kind of nice. But anyways, like some of the biggest news, you know, of course, it came out of the story that supposedly there was a blow up between old friend of the show Britt Baker and MJF that led to Britt being suspended. That part seems to be confirmed, but there was apparently the stories about what actually happened. MJF was on some podcast where he was kind of going on. He was like, "What? Let me know if this is the smell test." I got angry and physically threatened and ran into the women's locker room and punched a wall in front of somebody to intimidate them. Does that sound like something that I would still be with the company right now? Was his kind of make on that. So don't always believe what you read.
Is he insinuating that she did that?
No. They're insinuating that he came in and did that and came into the women's locker room
I
and did
think that was more of
to
like
her.
Yeah, that feels more like a. This is absolutely not something that would have happened.
Yes.
And I would still be regularly on TV in consecutive weeks if it was a thing that happened.
Exactly. Like not even somebody in his position and stature with the company and everything, right? And the fact that she was potentially fined or anything. And nobody knows the details of it, and she's not apparently crying over it either, and she's still on the Wembley show. So, you know, so that's what's going on there. So it's just another like thankfully I'd never heard these stories until he brought them up, which means I'm reading the right places or not reading the wrong places, which is actually I'm not reading any news. But even though a lot of it pops up in my feed because I happen to like some wrestling stuff. But I don't know. It's one of those like the alleged story. The more believable version of the story is that she said something and Alicia Atut, I think her name is.
I'm actually sure.
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Ran to MJF, told him there was a blow up and she got suspended. So, which seems peculiar on the face of it as it is. So it's just one of those things. Either way, like everybody's looking for drama. Everyone wants the drama behind the drama. So, you know,
It seems
that's
like
kinda what it is.
I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of drama over there. I can hear myself, and I should
There it
be
is.
better on that. It seems like there's a lot of drama over there,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of drama on the other side of the pond.
Well,
Which is, I mean, there's a lot of conceived, like
Mm-hmm.
contrived drama, obviously, but it doesn't seem like there's any real harshness on the other side of the pond right now.
Well, I think whoever would, I read a rumor, and I'm again not going to do names because I don't want this to come back.
So
on me.
asterisks on the rumor. Yes.
Rumor.
Always asterisks on the rumor, not news, not solidified.
This is not news.
But
This is not
thing
a
I've
news
heard.
source.
I read a rumor that one of the people that was in the latest big round of releases from the WWE was released because they were the person that was leaking a lot of like drama and news and other stuff that was happening. And if that is true, that would correlate with why we're not seeing like so many like backstage drama or, spoilers from the WWE, because either they did in fact find the person that was leaking everything, or whoever's done it smartened up and is laying low for a while until they feel they can get away with it again.
Sure.
And that leads me to believe that there's most definitely somebody in AEW who's doing similar. There may be more than one person. And so I think that's why we're seeing more drama come out of AEW, because they don't have as big of a hold over their employees as the WWE has. I believe they have the potential to grow that kind of hold, but they are still a relatively new company. They don't have as much overreach.
Say that, WWE has several years, even though the head of the company that really kind of orchestrated a lot of that. You don't have the fear of God probably as much as you used to at that company. It seems like the general sentiment, but that in a positive way. But also, like, they have an HR that deals with wrestlers and has for years and years and years and years.
Right.
And AEW is 5 years deep, right? So, and to the last I knew, AEW shared an HR department with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
So, which is an athletes, but an entirely different animal to
Than
deal
pro
with
wrestling.
issues and internal investigations on what happened backstage and all this kind of stuff.
Do they have a talent relations at AEW?
I believe Christopher Daniels was the talent relations. Yes.
Was or is currently?
Well, I don't know.
the
They
talent relations?
on screen they moved him to a different role. I don't know if he officially changed roles. Like, I just found out that Rocky Romero is an executive executive producer at both New Japan and AEW. It was mentioned on RJ City's show when he was on last week. I knew he was office at New Japan because that's somebody we interface with, but I didn't know that he also had a role, which makes sense because he pops up all the damn time over there. So I love that there's like crunching ASMR of pizza on this show going on.
I'm so sorry.
They're trying to make you
keep
big on
trying to like
TikTok,
take my
Sorg.
bites
Let's see.
away from the microphone, and it's not. It's picking me up very. It picks up my pizza crunching better than it picks up my talking.
These are
and that's
good
a-
microphones. These are good because the crunching is closer because the crunching is like vibrates down the crust away from your mouth.
We're trying to chocolate rain it.
That's right.
Chocolate rain.
Crunch away from the microphone. Well, I don't know if the crunching will survive all the processing for the podcast version, but just.
Just
I'm
turns into
trying.
static.
I'm trying
Yes.
so
If you
hard
play
to
it
make this easier.
If you play it backwards, it's the devil. It's the devil trying to send you a message.
Hey,
If you
hey.
play it backward, it'll give you spoilers for All in London.
Hey, you were not supposed to reveal that information.
What? Oh, yeah.
You
Sorry.
weren't supposed to tell them that. Now I gotta go through a whole retcon thing.
Retcon.
We'll fix it in post. Tati ASMR pizza is the next TikTok.
Hell yeah.
Just all the
gotta
crunches. It's like the thing where you're like, hey, just give me all the breaths. Like, give me all the crunchings. Just like, you ever seen that?
Those are my favorite when it's like. No, dude, that's my favorite when it's like a guy at like a car dealership and it's like, I gave my 22-year-old intern the phone to record a commercial and this is what I got back. And it's just a video of him going throughout the lot just going.
Because that's what works on TikTok.
Okay, the ASMR like popular girl at school does your hair ones always drive me crazy because just like they're running their fingers through like
And then it's just so much just like chewing.
yeah, it's so much chewing and they're like running their fingers
Tactile
through
noises.
synthetic wigs, so it sounds awful. And
They
I'm
always
just
have
like,
a bunch of rings and bracelets on, so it's just a bunch of tactile noises.
and their nails are always like an inch and a half long, and
It's
it's like
overstimulating.
why?
It's so overstimulating. It's like when it's like when you try to watch pedicure videos and it's got that background music that's just too loud.
I love that we have 2 seconds now tried to talk wrestling but have offshooted.
I'm
This
so
is the
sorry,
pure
Sword.
no, don't apologize. This is the pure spirit of this show from the beginning. Is side jags like this, is rat holes like this. This is great.
What were we talking about? HR departments?
HR departments. We don't have one.
No,
Actually,
we
Missy's the HR department in our company.
That seems like a violation. In its
Is
own
it?
right.
I mean, it's literally just us. So, and everybody else is a loose contractor, we'll say. Just
Loose
like wrestling.
contract.
Just like wrestling.
Shut up.
That is certainly a way to describe what we
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever seen a piece of paper with my name on it in my old wrestling, unless it was an envelope. In wrestling,
I feel like I have, and I mean, I feel it was at one of those promotions
I
where
did
like,
have to sign a 1099 form one time.
yeah, I did too. I'm trying to remember where that was.
Somebody had waivers, I know, for a bit.
Waivers,
A couple
sure.
places have had waivers.
Usually it's venues that have waivers.
One
It's
or
usually not
two.
companies.
Yeah, 1 or 2 companies have. I can't remember where.
I
they
remember
were.
when OWA worked, was at King of Clubs. They had their own waivers.
COVID we did. COVID companies did.
Sure,
I remember
yeah.
The hey, you're doing this and COVID's a thing and don't sue us.
Well,
kind
it
of thing.
was like they would always send me a PDF and then be like, send me back the completed PDF and then your test, right? So send in the test.
Title option is loose contractor for Sidekick Media. Thank you. So, wow, we have a double shot of PLE's Labor Day weekend. Tina's telling us in there. Bash in Berlin and the NXT No Mercy is happening Labor Day weekend, but no AEW this time. So, you know.
How are we feeling about NXT? I'm a little bit sour on it.
Really?
I haven't been watching. I mean, I watch
I haven't
a
been in
little
a hurry
bit.
to, but yeah.
It's just a lot of. I don't know if they know what they're doing with their women's division. It feels like every segment that ends with like a women promo just ends with the whole locker room going, and then the heels break it up
gotten-
and the baby faces.
It's
break
gotten
it
a
up.
little catty, hasn't it?
It's very catty,
Yeah.
and it's all in the same set. Nobody, there's no different.
Like the women
tone.
only hang out in this room over here, kind of thing. right?
It's like it'll be like 2 baby faces talking about being like, "Hey, you did good in that last match that you just had," and then a heel girl will come up and be like, "Pfft, "You're nothing."
It's all
And-
mean girl. It's all mean girl promos.
Yeah, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, well how about we find out in the ring tonight?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna mop the floor with you." And then they start yelling at each other, and then here comes the baby faces to bring the baby face girl back, and here comes the heels to bring the heel girl back. It ends the same way every time.
Also, it seems really strange that like they won't let any sort of women's stable stay together for a long amount of time.
No, it breaks up so quick.
And that could be the nature of the developmental edge thing that they're doing. But man, I don't know. They look like they're trying to step up, lean into this CW thing. Like they're they're hitting the road and everything.
Sure.
So
But I think for the longest time that they didn't keep stables and stuff together in NXT because they saw the potential of it's like, oh well, we may need this guy on TV in a week. You know, you never know. At that
yeah.
because you know Pete Dunne's coming back and forth doing SmackDown, Raw, NXT every week, and it's like he's in 3 different storylines. You don't know what he's doing.
Well, like I remember, what was that girl that was teaming with Thea for a while and like was gonna help save the university?
Can't remember what her name is.
I can't remember either, but I liked that like
She had,
eventually.
like pom poms.
No.
Can't remember.
No, she didn't. But she is like she came around to being a part of Chase U and like realize and like trying to help the university. And then they introduced more women's wrestlers from the roster to be in Chase U.
Is that a yearbook?
Yeah, it's the calendar.
No,
it's the Chase
calendar.
U
Are there
calendar.
are there names on this thing? It's that one. It's that one.
It's
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
Is that one there?
It's that one right there. And they they had something good going with like her showing Thea to like be more individual outside of like the college thing. I thought that was good, and then her like also coming around at the same time, and it's sort of evening out where it's like they're a team, and you know they're both gonna go to school together. And then they introduced more women from the roster as also students at Chase U, and I thought that's a cool idea that this is like an in-house university that multiple people on the roster are attending. That's cool, but then all of a sudden, what's her name turned on Thea, and then all of the other girls turned on Thea as well, and I'm like, what was the point?
You mean JC Jane? And look, they were just buddies riding each other.
Why would you
Look
say
at
it
that.
like that?
What? They're literally riding each
I
other.
know, but why did you say it like that?
This is December.
I know, but
December's for riding your friends.
It's a piggyback ride.
Yes.
Don't say
What
why.
you think? You're
okay.
I was implied, and I have a visual.
That's not helping you as much
I
as you
didn't-
think it is.
I didn't have complete visual on the photo.
There's a camera in the way,
When you
but
said that
yes.
they were
Hey,
riding each
look
other.
at that. I mean, that is wholesome as F.
But yeah, so like
I don't know, there's a lot of leg.
there is
Have
a
you
lot
seen
of
some
leg.
of these other pictures on here? Like, I don't even
We don't need to do all that.
know.
I you know what? I've grown to love the Chase U calendar just because like it's not like the swimsuit calendar that they used to do. It is very much a gag on that concept.
Yeah, and everybody's like airbrushed so bad, like it's not even like how
Oh,
they can
dude,
show
dude,
so much skin
dude.
but not be attractive.
Dude, Thea Hale is the most airbrushed human I've ever seen in my entire life.
But it's just she's not the only one. It's just like that's
No,
the one
they're
you've seen
all
in person, so you
they're all
know.
airbrushed.
Like it's crazy.
But like, you know, you have all these women who are supposedly in the university, and now they all hate the university, and that didn't. It felt like
Because
wasted
they didn't get a
potential.
piece of this calendar.
They all made the calendar specifically to because also my other problem was like the amount of time, and I've seen this a lot with the WWE.
I don't even know who these are.
And that's just because maybe it's just because that's the product I like tend to notice storyline beats more with. But like they don't leave a lot of room between big moments. They didn't leave a lot of time between Chase U is saved and JC Jane turning on Thea Hale. Like that is she almost immediately turned on Thea, and it was like, well, why did you save the college if you were just gonna do that? What was the point? You wasted your time. I remember when Becky Lynch got her haircut, and then she almost immediately got hurt. And when she came back, she had her long hair again. She had extensions, which, okay, no big deal. You're allowed to get extensions. There's nothing wrong with it. But for the sake of the storyline, this was such a big deal that she had short hair now, and she had this whole new look, and she came back with her old look restored, and nobody mentioned it. And that felt strange to me because I was invested in her having this new look, and I feel like it didn't get any time to marinate. And not on purpose, you know, she got hurt. She had to go and heal up for a little bit. And I was thinking, all right, well, she's going to come back and she's going to have these really cool updos with the short hair now, and she's going to like have that cool badass Seth Rollins like gear. Like I was so ready for that, and she came back and she was in the man getup again. And I'm like, wait.
A lot of discussion, direction, I'm sure, kind of conversations happening around there. So, but and again, like it has to be maddening to do story for NXT. Like I know it's probably a little different now, and there's probably a little more communication with the different people on top. But
Sure, think about it. A year ago, 2 years ago. People were getting called up left and right.
yeah, so you have to be ready for like it's almost like running an indie show. We're like, well, I got these storylines, but I got to think about who's not going to be here and what we do next, right? Like what's going to divert something like that. You know, maybe you hear somebody might be called up in the next month or so you just flatten whatever's going on, right? Which will lead to like some storylines that are just not going to complete. You know,
I feel like maybe the Chase U is in a financial rut storyline may have been because they were considering pulling up multiple members of Chase U up to the main roster. And so they wanted to have that there to like, well, they're technically locked into a 4-year storyline because that's how long their program is supposed to last. So how do we get rid of school so that they can come up to the main roster without question? And then I guess the higher ups decided, no, none of them are ready for this. Let's save the school.
Also, I think Andre Chase needs to wear gear.
Yes.
He looks so uncomfortable. Like I feel
Dude,
uncomfortable for
every
him
time he has
every
a
time he
match
does
more
that.
than 8 minutes, I'm like, dude, you need some gear. I'd be bacon, especially with all the NXT lights and everything. It's like, and I don't think he's wearing just like a fake collar underneath that sweater. It's a full get up.
Dedication.
But is it dedication or is it just the lack of?
Do you think it's like as bad as like I remember seeing CPA sweating when he comes out when he's wearing those
Oh
3
my
shirts
God. Yep.
already?
And he's already a sweaty human.
Yeah.
Dude, if you've
And
been
those look
around
like
him-
they're wool. I don't know.
Dude, he walks around in a t-shirt before the show starts, and he's got like his arm hairs all matted, and
Oh.
he's just a sweaty guy. And it's not that he doesn't smell or anything. He's
He's a
sweaty
wonderful
human.
smelling human being. Anyways, some comments here, and we'll move on here real quick. Tina says, sigh, okay, NXT tag title is the main event yet again. Are we getting another turn like last week? Matt True Prince is saying, sometimes I wonder if Shawn Michaels books NXT in a way where he has to tell stories fast because of how much turnover is coming in and out of the show.
That's
It is
exactly
like,
what I'm
I
saying.
mean, your show is a vehicle. It's becoming a product of its own with its own following, but it's also a vehicle to get these people ready for the main show.
But
it's such a double, you know.
you run into the problem where you get your stars over to the point where your overhead looks at them as your new breed of talent. for the
Exactly,
roster.
exactly.
So now immediately that you have an act that's over, it's gone. You saw it with Mello and
Braun.
with Braun and with Ilya Dragunov, where it's like you had that story of, you know, like Ilya losing the title, or I'm sorry, Mello losing the title to Ilya, because I mean the story was that he was probably going to go up, right? And then immediately after that, you have a story where Ilya's forced to leave NXT if he loses his title, and it's just like, well, now we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like it really kind of telegraphs it too. I mean, we always saw that when there were title changes, you know, back in the day in the Finn days and stuff like that. So, anyways, well, we need to get talking about some Dungeons and Dragons here in a moment. But in the meantime, go check out indiewrestling.us. A lot of great stuff happening over there. Wednesday, we are premiering the APWF Evolution show. From Indiana, PA, that was from late June, yes. But their next show is coming up here on the 24th, so you guys go check that out. So they'll let you know, you can kind of get an idea of what those shows are going to be like, of course, featuring the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, EC3, against Bill Collier, defending against Bill Collier. And also there's a Rise Grand Championship match with Cowpoke Paul and Zach Nystrom. I believe the first time those two met. There's a Fight Underground Championship match on there between Christian Noir and the Rev Ron Hunt. There's a lot of good matches on there, a lot of good talent, and some talent that we usually don't see in Pittsburgh too as a part of this. So it was a really good show. I highly recommend it. I think Bubba Brewer's doing a great thing out there, and you're going to get to see how that first show went. Sound guy aside, yes, that. We left some of that in there because I can't really edit around it. So, but it doesn't matter. Hey, it made it easier for putting on YouTube. I can tell you that. That's going to be for free on the YouTube as well as over on Indie Wrestling Network. So go check that out starting Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And of course, a lot of other great stuff. Thursday Night Fights is happening. The Steel City Retribution show. Retribution of the Steel City Killers. Yes. Aha. I remembered it. I don't even have it in front of me. That's going to be next Friday, live on all the streaming platforms at indiewrestling.us. RWA is coming up this month. VCW is coming up on the 1st. And 2PW here in the beginning of September as well. A lot of stuff happening. It's going to be a packed few weeks here on indiewrestling.us. A no-ring show is being recorded this Friday. That's going to go up on the network later. And I think a few other things might be in the works too. So a lot of stuff going on. A lot of bang for your buck. It's only $5.99, 7-day free trial on indiewrestling.network. And there's also a membership if you like it on the YouTube as well. So you can get that, I think, just through your app or something too. So that's a lot easier.
You just get it through the
Yeah, and it gets all the shows, gets the live streams. We simulcast to the network and YouTube at the same time, whatever your preference is. And of course, the network has a little bit more of the back catalog and some of the special things that we did here as part of the network, which we're looking to bring back some of those back too. And also, Top Rope Tabletop is streaming on all those platforms. And of course, you two are a part of it. This is pro wrestlers playing Dungeons and Dragons. And it's been, God, this was a COVID project that is still going. Yeah. And you're still in campaign 2.
Well,
Yeah.
for the moment.
Two-ish. Two-ish.
We're getting there.
I think we're getting to the end,
We're right
right?
there.
So,
It feels like every day that we're building to a possible end.
so
It's like we look at we look at each other every day and we're like, is
Are we-
today the day?
are we done?
Are we going to the place?
This is the
Well-
campaign that never ends.
Well,
Exactly. But it's getting to the point where we've talked so much about kind of the characters that we're gonna do in our next campaign.
we
That
gotta get there.
that we
Gotta put a
get
pin
there.
in this. This is like the Netflix show that you never finish.
Dude, seriously.
Oh my God, yeah.
But
Just
you're
sort of
like,
play it.
but it's like you keep looking and you're like, we got to get to the end, and then there's the next season. And you're like, are you kidding me? They stretched this out this far?
This is the Game of Thrones of campaigns.
No, but I love it. It's super engaging every week. I get to just exist in a new world, which is really cool.
You picked up on it really quick too.
I think it just made sense, kind of.
Yeah.
Really. It was kind of just like I don't know. You kind of just have to like exist. You have to kind of like it is the mind's playground, right?
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of like exist somewhere else in your brain to make this game work.
Right.
So I mean, when you watch along, I mean, you can watch along with the pieces, but you also kind of have to have this brain that you're using when you like listen to like audiobooks and read literature and stuff like that, where you have to kind of imagine yourself in this bigger world than what you live in now, which is really cool to me.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we've got our little miniatures of our characters, but ultimately, like, it's up to the audience to kind of visualize what our characters are doing. Like, we as the players, we have to describe, like, the actions that we're taking and how we try to go about it. But, like, the goal has to be making the audience so engrossed in what we're doing that they can just imagine the characters doing that without having to really think about it. And like our past couple of battles have been like incredibly fun,
Oh yeah,
but
they're very taxing.
they are very taxing.
You like I sometimes like I try to watch a stream to keep an eye on you. I leave the room, let you guys have the room to yourself. And like I like
Sometimes I miss you when you leave.
I'll see.
So weird.
Especially when you do it and have to leave and go film a no ring show.
Yeah.
My favorite thing has been like when somebody from because me, Mikey, and Tony all sit on the side of the table that is farthest from the door. So we have to go behind Keith to get to the door to like go to the bathroom, fill up our water, whatever.
And also, there's some times where I just don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, but my favorite thing
I'm
is
done with this. I'm walking away from
No,
the
I mean,
situation.
it's not that, but you know what? You get cooped up
Yeah.
in a place for too
Yeah.
long when you're just like, I just need about 10 to 15 seconds to not be on camera.
Yeah. But my absolute favorite thing is when one of us is like getting up to do something and like walks behind Keith. And there's just that moment where you forget that there's also a camera pointed directly at Keith.
Directly.
Somebody started putting in the headphones.
Sorry about that. Forgot that wasn't like proceed. I'll fix it in post.
You're good. But like, there's that moment where you forget for a second that there's another camera pointed directly at Keith. So you grab a bite of pizza or you take a bite of your taco or you like
Just look at my phone.
yeah, like text an update to a friend or to a loved one or something. And I just love like looking at the screen because I'm usually keeping an eyeball on Twitch to like see if anybody's in the chat, and I'll just see them appear in the background just doing their thing. It's so funny.
Or sometimes I'll pop in and just stick my head in there.
It's like if you just turned to like a random camera on a New York City street. It's
Yeah.
it's just very jarring when you get caught. Like
I do.
And also, like, I usually leave the window open too, so people can see what's happening in here. And I don't know, maybe people are like walking by and like, I don't know, like, I know people like flip us off when we're doing this show on Tuesdays sometimes and do weird stuff or put
I've
their
never
face on
really
the window.
I've never really noticed it.
Yeah.
I,
Nobody's like knocked on the window during the show or anything.
Not while
yeah.
we've done Top Rope Tabletop. I think they just see 6 nerds gathered around a table and they're like, not interested.
Like, I just don't understand what's happening
it's
over
just
there.
like, oh look, nerds.
And there's people just sitting there eating their tacos across the street,
it's
and
people from the Mexican grocer coming over and looking at it and just going, "Okay."
I feel like every now and then they like send somebody over to like, okay, can you go see what the hell they're doing this week? They're sitting around the table again. That one rolled dice.
No, the most eventful thing that happens around here is there will be a train that's stopped because there's a guy who
the
refused.
train's coming back on the 1st. By the way, it's been down for 2 months. So
Really?
yeah, they've been working on a lot of the track above and
Well,
below
because
us.
there'll be a guy doing DoorDash or Uber Eats that just parks way too far out into the street, and it blocks because the street runs parallel with the tram tracks.
And this is the only, I mean, the tracks are on the street. This is the only mile of a street in Pittsburgh with active rail on the streetcar with the T
I
system here.
hate it.
Not quite. It is the only mile. It is not the only active road with an active streetcar going through it. Right.
Crossing or with?
Going toward with the
Because like
okay.
Worthington's not active anymore. Or not Worthington. Yeah, I think it was Worthington, up in Allentown area.
The one I'm thinking of runs with traffic for about, I want to say, 50 feet. So it's not
50 feet.
50 feet is nothing.
well. Once you said like running with traffic, I was like, okay, I get.
Like,
Okay, you're
on
right.
the street,
I'm
like you can't pass the train. It's when a train needs to observe a street traffic light. Let's put it that way.
okay, this one. See, it still doesn't.
Which one are you thinking?
So it's down. There's the Castle Shannon Shops, which is right behind the Ice Castle, which leads to Mount Lebanon Boulevard.
Oh, that's a crossing.
That's why I was saying because, but that's why I just stopped you to say that. Well, it still doesn't count because that one does occasionally stop for the traffic light to let traffic
Yeah,
pass.
it's part of that, but it's more a crossing than anything. Yeah.
But like you see why I was trying to say, wait, but no, you're right.
I'm talking
I don't have to
honest
slow
to
down
goodness
for it,
street car. That's a problem.
Oh,
and
here
there goes
comes
the emergency vehicles.
Yep,
there you
emergency
go.
vehicles.
Somebody's on fire, I guess.
Anyways.
That's your first thought when you see an emergency vehicle?
Well, it was a fire truck, Mikey.
I'm like,
it was a fire truck.
I'm like, I hope everybody's gonna be okay. And she's like, somebody's on fire.
Yeah. Somebody is
I'm learning so much about you right now.
fully engulfed in flames.
Surprisingly, the flower girl is a pyromaniac, and nobody saw that coming.
Ashy flowers. I don't know what that do. Anyways, back to
Moisturized
Dungeons and Dragons. So, for those that don't know, so what are your current characters when you are in this D&D world?
I play a bard called Primus.
Okay.
And, he's
I've not heard much singing from you.
no, he's not a traditional bard in the sense where like
He's a quiet bard.
well, so like the backstory to my character is that his dad was an Elvis impersonator, right? So he kind of, well, I mean, like the D&D version of Elvis, right?
I remember this. Yeah. Okay.
So like he's just been kind of like home-ridden or like a basement dweller essentially, living off of his dad's like Elvis impersonator career, right? So I've just been kind of like living in my hometown until some unforeseen things happen where, you know, like there's a bad guy running around my town killing everybody. And then I'm the only one left, so I have to find some refuse.
Mm-hmm.
And I run into, how many were there? 4 others?
Yeah.
4 other guys in a haunted house, it looked like.
Yeah, we found you in a haunted house.
No, I found you in a haunted house.
Tomato. We found each other. We were all running away from things.
It turns out they had adopted me.
We were just like, hey.
Maybe the house was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. And Tatiana, what are you playing right now?
Oh boy. So I was playing an Owlin cleric an Owlin who is both a rogue and a cleric named Drew. However, at the
Still in
beginning,
her body though.
well, I was getting to that. At the beginning of our previous episode, Drew performed a very dangerous spell that was way beyond her capabilities. And there was a lot of things that could have gone wrong during this spell. The main thing that they needed to go right went right. They brought back a dragon. Spoilers. However, there was a side effect. And Drew's body got ripped out of her, Drew's soul got ripped out of her body and thrust into her soul, her sword, which already had a soul in it. I am having trouble with words now because it gets very convoluted. And somebody else's soul was thrown
Perfect
into
for Dungeons and
Drew's.
Dragons.
And we'll get another soul was thrown into Drew's body. So now I am playing Drew's twin sister, Leia. And very, very in character, my dice decided to absolutely fail me during Leia's first battle with the team. I just kept rolling you saw, I kept changing the dice out, trying to find one that would roll well. And then it would just roll a 2 or a 1 or a 3. And I'm like, I need this battle to go well because if she dies, I don't know what's going to happen to my beloved owl.
See, I think a dice switch is kind of like in the same vein of like a ball switch in bowling, where it's kind of just like a mental psych out game.
As a former junior league bowler, yes.
Yes,
It is.
If you just keep switching balls, you're never going to get into a rhythm.
In bowling, there's actually like, I'll go with a heavy one or something like that, right? Like, I don't know if there's any physical, like versus.
Everybody looks at it different. The way I look at it is I feel more confident if I just have a new piece of dice in my hand to roll. I always roll about 4 dice before. I always roll 4d20 before the session even starts. And I take the 2 highest rolling ones. The second highest is the backup dice. The highest is the main dice for the game. So if the first dice starts rolling 1s and 2s, that goes back in the bag. Backup dice, pull out
I
another
love this process.
listen.
Wait. So this is like a superstitious process. Do you guys have like? And I know like with sports and stuff. I remember this like there'd be certain sequences I do when I was bowling, right? Like with my hands and stuff. Like when you guys go into wrestling matches, are there like some kind of like routine superstitious things that you guys do going into that?
If you notice, every one of my matches, I enter the ring like Cassius Ohno. I get through the corner and then I hop over, hook myself and do a front flip over.
Yeah.
I do that every time. Every single match I've ever done.
Like this needs to happen for this match to happen, kind of
both do
vibe,
it?
right?
Huh?
Like that needs to happen for this match to happen for
Yeah,
you, right?
for sure.
I probably should because I'm almost 5 years into this, but I haven't found anything permanent that I kind of do when entering the ring. My routine, though, is I call the match. This is for when I'm calling the matches. Is I walk in circles and sort of mimic the moves that are going to be done. And it looks.
You do a walkthrough, basically, right?
Yeah. I walk through it and I mimic it and I do the hand gestures and I pretend to get hit and da da da. And to some people it looks a little crazy. Some people realize what I'm doing. Other people other people like try to jump in. I've had people watch me do that and they try to jump in and like try to like chain wrestle with me or like try to call stuff to me, and I'm just I get into the zone, so I suddenly break out of the zone, look at them like, what are you doing? Oh no, sorry, I was going over it, sorry. No, this is one person show, I'm sorry.
No, I was wrestling SummerSlam weekend, downtown Cleveland.
I think I was a block away. I couldn't figure out where you guys were.
We were on.
Yeah, you were like the street over. I found
East
out
End.
later.
It was right when you got off at the exit.
Yeah.
But
I walked in the wrong way.
Our locker room was this like nightclub. Can't remember what it was called, but there was just like bottle girls like walking around and like people like getting drinks, and I'm like in the middle of the dance floor just going like.
Doing the moves.
Yeah, like
basically pantomiming the whole match.
literally
yeah.
pantomiming the whole match. And
Yeah.
to anybody else who's not in the wrestling business, it just looks like it just looks like the mimicry of a crazy person outside of a giant eagle, you know.
And I think that's always like I've said before. I'm fascinated I love watching you guys go through a match together. You know, like it's a tag team match, 4 people like standing around, and I'll just watch them kind of go through the process, right? Because that is like, I don't understand the science of it, putting that together, how that works, and even watching you guys, like you're not the only people I've seen do that, like that kind of pantomiming kind of thing to yourself. So, that's very interesting. So tell me about the connection. I always had this like I felt like wrestlers, because you already are doing character work and presentation and promos and things like that. It always seemed like it kind of connected with what happens with D&D as far as like those characters and that world building kind of situation. Like, do you guys find kind of like an easy connection across from your between, does one help the other? Did D&D previously help you get in wrestling, or would that work?
So D&D, I did try to use D&D as like a vehicle to like reimagine myself gimmick wise several years back, and for me it just didn't work out because my characters are so fantastical and out of this world and magical specifically that there's no real easy way for me to translate them into real life. And even my more combat characters, like I have a monk who I love very much, and she'd make a pretty cool wrestling character, but I cannot do her moves physically. I do not have that capability, so that kind of throws a wrench into it. What it did help with though was quick thinking when it comes to like just sort of improvising in the ring with people. Just kind of like thinking on my feet, and it helped me get rid of that deer in the headlights bit that you have when you're really new in the business and like something goes wrong or you just forget something.
Like Ciampa on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to happen every now and then.
It's gonna happen, yes.
But like it just playing D&D more as often as I was going to wrestling practice, I'd have those matches and I'd have moments where like something would go wrong and I would just kind of keep moving and going, okay, well that didn't roll the way I wanted it to. Let's try this and go to it.
I find it easier on the opposite end, where it's like I think pro wrestling helped me in D&D more than D&D helped me in pro wrestling. Mostly, it does come down to quick thinking, really. And also, pro wrestling exists in the same way that D&D does, kind of in the mind's playground, where it's like I can envision a whole pro wrestling match in my head, like move for move. Yeah, like when I'm pantomiming, it's not. I'm not just pantomiming. I'm envisioning the whole match in my head, where my positioning, like am I corner to corner, am I rope to rope, how many steps am I from the middle. Where do I have to be for this, that, this, so I guess it really does kind of help in D&D positioning as well, because it's like I can figure out where I am in a space and not have to like think about it too hard. And also, just like with wrestling is just a lot of improv too. So, I mean, when you're doing a promo, it's like, if you're not in WWE, it's not just scripted, right? So you kind of have to figure out what your character.
That's the only place it is scripted.
Well, I don't know how much AEW is scripted.
I don't think a whole lot.
But yeah, I think it just helps kind of just the quick thinking of it. Being able to think about what your character's wants, needs are is easily translatable to pro wrestling and D&D.
And you could even make the argument that, like, when we're having those battles, like, while everybody else is having their turn, we're kind of thinking of the spot that we want to do.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's almost like playing D&D is almost like calling a scramble.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
No, it really is, because it's just a lot of sitting and listening to the structure that other people want it to be, and just adding in your pizzazz and what you think the situation calls for.
And then when somebody gets eliminated before you get to do your thing with them, that's the real life situation of they went down to 0 HP.
No, that's the worst part of D&D and the 6-man scramble match is when it's all said and done and you look at somebody that you really wanted to wrestle or like talk to for however long, and you're like, we didn't get to interact that whole time.
Yep.
Oh man, dang! Next time.
The disappointment of scrambles in D&D.
No,
Show
I mean,
title?
I would say that it's like there's so many like it always plays out different.
Yeah,
D-
and
like-
you're talking about there's like so many possibilities and where it ends up, and you realize, oh, but we didn't do this, this, and this
For
Because-
sure.
because it just
Yeah.
didn't.
'Cause we
it
had-
didn't come out that way.
Yeah, no, it's like because there'll be times when it's like, oh, I thought about doing this, this, and this, but it just didn't play out that way.
We just did a music event here on Friday, so it's in my head, but it's like a jam session.
Sure.
Yeah.
To a certain point, especially when you get to that kind of mass thing like a scramble, right? So. Anyways, you guys are Top Rope Tabletop is again that's going to be here in the studio right over there. We'll set up the table, all the lights and everything over in the corner. Not the corner, but you basically take up half a room. But it's
A good amount of the room.
a little good amount of the room. The nice table that Justin and I will put together.
We gotta
Beautiful
make room
table.
for our muscles.
What's that?
We gotta make room for our muscles.
Yes, make room for the muscles. Absolutely. And of course, we'll be still talking with you guys here after the break. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, all that stuff is there if you want to check something out. I think it's kind of the kind of thing you could put in the background while you're working or something, right? And to catch up on it. All that's on YouTube. It's on IndieWrestling.network, and you guys can kind of catch up to what's going on and see the evolution of it too over the years
for sure.
too. It looked a lot different when we started. That's for sure.
Dude, see me go from long hair to short hair to long hair.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Just like, you could do a whole like sequence, since it's like mostly month to month. Watch everybody age over the last 4 years. No.
Don't do that.
No, watch everybody grow up, and you can watch the awkward early episodes when COVID was happening and we were all in the same room and we sat everybody in a corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember that? We're just like, how do we do this? We're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break. But first up, speaking of Top Rope Tabletop, Keith Hott is going to give you a look back to how we got here at Top Rope Tabletop and the story so far, so you can get caught up for joining everybody on Friday. It's going to be 7 p.m. is the start of the stream, more or less. Indie Wrestling Standard Time, and you guys can tune in there through the night, and we'll be right back after this.
Dungeon Master Bearcat Keith Hott here, and previously on Top Rope Tabletop, Shadowclaw has made their way into the City of Shadow. With the help of all the friends they've met along the way, including 2 very strong dragons. They fought their way to the core and have seen many friends and family members in the pods of stasis, locked in place in time. This will probably be the final episode of the season as they have their last encounter with the Shadow Lord. The fate of the realms hangs in the balance. Tune in on Friday to see what happens. See you soon.
For mercy, all alone, unable to handle the pressure of forced mortification. Now let the torture begin.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Dungeon Master Bearcat Keythought here. And previously, on Top Rope Tabletop, Shadowclaw has made their way into the City of Shadow. With the help of all the friends they've met along the way, including 2 very strong dragons. They fought their way to the core and have seen many friends and family members in the pods of stasis, locked in place in time. This will probably be the final episode of the season as they have their last encounter with the Shadow Lord. The fate of the realms hangs in the balance. Tune in on Friday to see what happens. See you soon.
We are back. It is the Wrestling Mayhem show. We got the unwielding Tatiana, and we got Mike Montgomery. What are you doing? What is this, jazz hands?
Jazz
Yeah,
hands.
We're
jazz hands.
handsing?
Tati
Wow.
started doing
Hold
it,
on, I
so
guess I got to
did
do
it.
it too. Both hands? Both hands?
Yes, both
Everybody show
hands.
their, or is this an everybody show their hands? Is it one of those things? I don't know what's happening.
What quantifies as jazz hands
okay.
and what quantifies
All right,
as...
chat room, show your hands.
Okay, so actually,
Take your hands
jazz
off the wheel if you're driving. Just
Jazz
kidding.
hands are having your hands open with your fingers completely spread to the best of your ability, obviously, and just wiggling your hands. It gives the impression of having pom-poms.
So wait, what is this? Does this have another?
That, I believe,
What
is
are you
sign
just,
language.
you're just turning your wrists at that point.
So
Forget about it.
that's actually, that is, I'm pretty sure when you slow it down and just do it like 1 or 2 times, I'm pretty sure that is a word in ASL. I'm not 100% certain. But whenever you're doing it like that.
Is it a dirty
that's just-
word?
No, it's not. I'm pretty sure it's like what. But whenever you're doing it like that, just all over the place, I'm pretty sure that's Russian.
Oh,
That's I'm pretty sure that's a Russian thing.
Russian ASL. That would be RASL.
No. Russian ASL is literally just gun.
And there you go.
Yes. Russian Eagle. Oh, and vodka.
Well, I can't find my charger for my laptop, so we might lose some of the chat room soon. But I still got Facebook.
no.
Oh no! But anyways, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't think I have to do anything over here. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Tatiana. You've had your injury, but you've been still filling your time with doing some stuff. You've been doing commentary lately,
Yes.
for instance. How has that been going?
Well, it's been fun. Talking on the microphone has always been one of my strengths. So getting to sort of do commentary all the time and work on it and like kind of find what works for me and what doesn't, it's been fun. I wasn't there last week because I couldn't be near a locker room with Nick's Wild for obvious reasons. Yeah.
They are such a scamp right now.
That's a word for them.
Yes.
But no,
Nick's got like the NWO like trash throw when it went down with Reese at the last Friday show. It was terrible, but it was incredible at the same time.
I'm actually a little impressed. Like I know I was absolutely flabbergasted by the whole thing, but like seeing that reaction from the fans, because obviously they've thrown trash before.
Sometimes in positivity.
Sometimes. But yeah, just seeing it happen in real time, just as a reaction, was wild. I'm a little impressed.
No pun intended.
Ah,
Sorry.
that's okay. That
Do
was
you
a
have
good
anything?
pun.
Do you have anything big planned other than obviously not being missing anymore when you come back?
Well, yeah, I have a whole list of people that like I need to have conversations with. Let's say.
Oh God,
Do you
more
ever,
promo
do
time.
you want to do commentary more?
I do. I kind of enjoy doing commentary. I'd like to do it more places and work with other folks that are a little bit more experienced at it.
Sweet.
It's kind of something I want to do after I'm done in the ring.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's God, what was it? I made a post, a fun post with somebody about diversifying because they were doing something else weird. I was on the story last week, but really, like I don't know how many people like kind of help with booking and I know we have some of the old timers. I don't want to call them old timers. I feel disrespectful saying that. What the vets? That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Old timers.
Don't let
Jesus
Paul Atlas hear this
Christ.
clip, because that's what I'm thinking about. But no, like backstage, like kind of doing that kind of agent kind of process. I mean, it is kind of good to like kind of have another reason to be booked, right? At that, or even like almost, I want to say double duty, but it adds more value to being booked on a show at that point, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Or more opportunity, hopefully.
So, Mikey, you probably, I don't know if you saw this, but you might have heard about it. There was a post that went on Facebook a couple of days ago
Oh,
of
you mean the site for 15 old people? Yeah, no.
Yeah, for like me and Paul Atlas. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
pretty much.
For the old timers, yes.
Yeah.
But a
Thanks.
couple of TNA executives were saying, "Hey, if you guys like want an opportunity to work ring crew,"
Oh, the Bound for Glory post? I saw that, yeah.
Okay.
and I sent them an email, and I of course attached my resume, but I also attached my shoot life resume and included in the email. I also have a lot of experience in the theater working as a stagehand. So from the jump, I'm just telling them, I'm the person you want to give this opportunity to because I'm actually going to like be useful. At least that's my hope.
And
Whoever they
like,
choose.
seeing some of the posts, you don't know how many of them were like, can I wrestle for you? And that's like that is like, I'm a wrestler, you should hire me, and then you get nothing else. So,
yeah.
and I'm sure even TNA would get that from
Yeah.
some people that just, don't know how to kind of put themselves out there, right? So, no, I think that's good, and then yeah, I mean, look how many have kind of slid in that role. Drama King, I can't remember his name, Matthew Rangwall. I've worked with him several times, and I don't want to say his name to his face because I know I get it wrong every time.
His NXT name was Aiden English.
Aiden English, thank you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can do with that. But yeah, like I mean, look at him like moving into a position like that. Veda is doing some amazing stuff and is everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah,
And so
absolutely.
I'm surprised when I see her actually wrestle at this point.
My,
Oh, yeah, because she's doing commentary everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody wants her to do
She's always at the
commentary.
New Japan shows. She's been doing Enjoy obviously, and just like
She does a great job at Enjoy.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's great stuff. I got to work with her at Warrior several times, and then New Japan. And it's great to see her growing and getting in front of more people and everything.
I think I've worked with Veda every time that she's been at Enjoy because I wrestled with her. Oh, I guess not. No, I guess there must have been one time that I didn't. But like pretty much every time that she's worked at Enjoy, she's either been in my match or my commentator, which is really cool.
So you've been on both sides of it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, I know Gia Miller, who's now the official backstage interview for TNA. I remember chatting with her back when she was like freshly a member of TNA. And that started up because she became friends with Madison Rayne, and Madison Rayne was like, "You know what? You've got a good face. You're a good talker. Let's try you out on this." And it took off.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been interesting to see. Like I know some of the girls, it's they've been kind of sliding these. And what's her face? Quinn McKay, was that
Yeah.
her name?
Yes.
Is now she's the NXT backstage. She was doing Ring of Honor before too, and she was a great wrestler too. So like she was no slouch in that. But but it's also like I was listening to Adam Pearce talk about his position and talking how he's there. He's a former NWO champ, and now Nick Aldis is there as the other commissioner. So it's just so we're setting up for a match here, right? Like this is happening. Like Triple H is just collecting all the old NWA champs at this point, and putting them
Wouldn't that
backstage.
be great,
Like,
though?
I know,
That
right?
would be really
If
cool.
they just get real ticked off, dude, that's a Mania match for sure.
And there's been a few at the pay-per-views when they do the face-to-face thing every once in a while, and they're kind of joshing. Like you're just like, oh, they're gonna do something,
sure,
right?
They're joshing, but they want to do. You can tell they want to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like, well, if it's presented to me, I'm up for it, kind of thing. When in this interview I saw this week, right?
That's what you say when you want to do something real bad, but you don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, I don't want to say it out loud. It's like, oh, I'm open to the proposal. He was like, I think I heard Nigel say the same thing on an interview this week.
I could just when I see those two in a match, I just imagine them just beating the dog shit.
Oh, absolutely.
just going out. I imagine that neither one of them comes out with full gear on. Just shooters, knee pads, maybe some tape, and just coming out.
Just an old school brawler. Like I want just like a Harley race Texas death match kind of thing going
that's
down.
what it would be
right?
too. Just two men with taped up knuckles, just going out there and dusting each other, just giving each other a couple
And the
dusts.
thing is, most people that watch WWE see these two guys, and they have zero. These guys, maybe they've jobbed for WWE in the last 20 years, right? Don't know the history of the NWA Championship, history with Ring of Honor, history with TNA, because both of them have, some level of thing.
Right.
I remember seeing clips of Adam Pearce's, feud with Colt Cabana over the NWA Championship across the
I
Indies.
feel like a lot of people don't remember that Nick Aldis was the NWA Championship when All In was the biggest independent professional
right.
wrestling
Yes.
pay-per-view of all time.
Yes.
When he was in the first All In, he lost to Cody Rhodes for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Hell, that could be something. He gets in Cody's face, and they relive those days, right? I mean, there's so many possibilities, and it's all. I know it has to be in the right spot, and when it's going to matter the most, and everything like that. But your regular WWE person that doesn't know that, and then these guys get into it, and maybe do like you said, and then it just blows their mind.
Or it's just a draft that goes. Because when do they do the draft? Is it after Mania? Or
It's whenever they want at this point, I think.
Because think about it, you do the draft mid-year, and they just F each other over.
Yes,
right?
yes.
They completely F each other over in the draft, and then you do something where
They'll probably do it going into the Netflix deal or something, right?
something like that, and then
Yeah.
and then you have all this be like the heel.
Mm-hmm.
You have be the real heel, and he does something dirty behind Pierce's back. Maybe he tries to steal a talent
Mm-hmm.
or something, and maybe he tries to go to Triple H. He's like, he's going out of line. He's going behind my back, and maybe it's all this is already in the room with Triple H, oh, what's going on? Blah blah blah. It's you're trying to go behind my back, you son of a bitch. Blah 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 blah. And all of a sudden, it's just Nick Aldis feels like nothing's going on, and then just one day out of nowhere on a SmackDown, he just comes in and just boom. That's what you get. That's what you get. Gets suspended for 3 weeks. No. I'm gonna come in and shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand. Spits on him. You just start brawling. No, we're gonna save it for Mania.
I can't remember the
man,
last
I
time
want
people
this
have been
so bad
invested in the authority figures like this, because I'm seeing there was
Or it's the slot. You give him the time, or it's the loser gets the Monday night. The winner gets the Monday night slot in 3 hours, or the winner gets the 3 hours. Right,
and that's how USA moves SmackDown to 3 hours. I was watching the promo for the debut because it's September, the 6th, 7th, or 5th, or whatever, that they're coming to USA. And I was like, oh my God, when are they going to announce that SmackDown's going to be 3 hours? I feel like they're going to do it because USA is the reason they've been going 3 hours, right, on Mondays. Why wouldn't they do it on Fridays, right?
They would for sure, because what are they running after SmackDown on Fridays?
Like
Fucking burn notice.
I don't even know what's on USA. I mean, it's some terrible. I know after Raw is always
It's a
some
rerun of Suits. Like, what are
It's
they
always
doing?
it's always a rerun of some terrible cop show that your mom likes watching.
there's like ones I don't know. It's not even Law and Order anymore before it. And it's just like I just know whenever I turn on the DVR and it's going into Raw, I was like, and that's how I dealt with my rape. I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
It's
What
always,
is? I'm just
Law
here
and
for
Order special.
wrestling.
Yup.
I know. Why is that always the lead into then?
The worst thing was when I remember
Forever.
NCIS. I just remember one of the main characters got straight shot in the head, and they showed it. And we can't say shit on Raw.
Oh
You're
my
just like,
God.
are you fucking kidding me? You're going into TV PG Raw, and this woman got shot in the head, and you fucking showed it at 7:58 p.m. at night?
Yep, and that's that.
What
Now
the
we're going
fuck?
into
But you better chill out, for John Cena's not going to say nuts anymore. Just, I mean, what are we fucking